Right now on the National Weather Desk, a multi-day storm slams into California, bringing the threat of flooding, mudslides, and debris flows.
Look at LA, 3 to 4 inches and maybe half a foot or more over Ventura and Santa Barbara counties.
This week's Northern Lights show is now gone, but one man went viral for his remarkable photos.
It's cool to see that people enjoy something that I'm doing, so I really enjoy taking photos and sharing them.
And speaking of views, why are sunsets so magnificent this time of year? What was an alligator doing in Boston's Charles River?
TT Gator was sitting right here and he moonwalked right back into the water.
And this week's Friday football forecast includes a look at the NFL's last international series game of the year in Madrid, Spain.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. Central and Southern California are on alert this morning. A multi-day storm could bring flooding, mudslides, and debris flows near burn scars in the Los Angeles area. The rain started falling Wednesday and may not let up until next week. Now, some areas near Santa Barbara could see 8 inches of rain. That's almost half the region's annual rainfall. The rain is already causing problems in the Sacramento area. We're stranded on an island in the middle of a creek. While the dog and one person were able to make it to safety, fire crews rescued the other person.
It wasn't so much that they were in the water, it was that their egress had been cut off. One of the things is this time of year, we have to start thinking about the fact that the levees are going to start to be utilized again, water levels are going to be rising, and that they need to look at either moving to higher ground or being prepared to leave when we get weather of the situations prior to their egress being cut off.
The rain was expected to cause problems in the mountains south of San Jose, but as Felix Cortez explains, people there are breathing a sigh of relief.
In the Santa Cruz Mountains, the rain started coming down Wednesday night.
The drops were coming about 8 p.m. When I woke up this morning, it was torrential rains.
That raised concerns for Linda Meyer of Valley Churches United in Ben Lomond. They have 2 gutters right outside their doors.
And we have to clear the leaves or the drains will back up, and it actually comes up to the sidewalk and right up to our building when that happens.
There was a lot of rain, but firefighters say the strong winds that were anticipated never materialized.
We had a brief frontal band come through with a little bit of thunder and lightning, but it's just been a steady soaking rain. It's kind of a great way to start your winter season. It's been uneventful.
Uneventful. That's not a bad thing for the Santa Cruz Mountains. In Zayante, a tree in the power lines was reported, and this tree fell on the cable lines on Empire Grade.
Right now, flood watches are posted for most of Southern California with winter storm alerts further north. Bakersfield meteorologist Ilya Newman shows us what's on tap for the next few days.
The first low is going to be moving on to the north and east near San Francisco. A secondary system developing to the south that will park southwest of Santa Barbara Friday night to Saturday, setting the stage for a prolonged period of moderate to heavy rain and flood risk sky high across southern and central California, including right here in Kern County, most likely on Saturday. As the low moves out, Sunday will be drier, but not for long. Look at this. Another system moves in from the northwest for sogginess to return to the area on Monday, and that is quite impressive indeed. This is a significant heavy rain event, folks. We are looking at the potential for anywhere from 1 to 2 to 2 to 3 inches in the South Valley and maybe 2 to 5 between Mojave and Tehachapi. That's why I'm concerned about the possibility of flooding on Saturday. Look at LA, 3 to 4 inches and maybe half a foot or more over Ventura and Santa Barbara counties. That is incredible and really, really needs to be taken very seriously.
And as we noted, the storm is bringing the reality of winter to parts of California. Some places could actually see up to 2 feet of snow. The highway through Lassen Volcanic National Park, 3 hours north of Sacramento, is now closed for the season because the roads are covered in snow and ice. Although the park remains open, local roads are not accessible. The highway is closed down each year because even when it's not snowing at lower elevations, the mountains can still have up to 40 feet of snow.
Mountains create their own weather a lot of the time. So, you know, it may be fairly sunny down in Redding or Red Bluff, and then it's snowing up here, and you may not know it until you get up here. So it's a good idea, or it may catch you by surprise once you are here. So it's a good idea to check the weather forecast.
Well, officials say that anyone heading to the mountains this winter should carry chains, a blanket, water, and snacks. That advice is good, really, anytime you're heading out in winter weather. One of the top stories this week, the northern lights that decorated the skies across a swath of the nation, including some places that have never experienced them. We take you to Colorado Springs, where one photographer's images went viral after he caught Wednesday night's show from one of the most picturesque spots in the nation. Samantha Hildebrand has more.
Vivid streaks of green, pink, and purple painted the night sky above Garden of the Gods, a surreal sight most people never expect to see. Local photographer Daniel Forster was standing right here in southern Colorado's slice of heaven, camera rolling, when the northern lights appeared over the red rocks.
I went to bed and I posted it late, like 10:30. Usually don't do that on social media and get decent interaction, but I guess it was a pretty interesting thing. And I woke up, it was like 80,000 likes, and I was like, what in the world? This is insane.
Daniel says he never expected the photos to go viral, but more than the numbers, it was the emotion of the moment that stuck with him.
I like making people smile, or like helping people, so it's cool to see that people enjoy something that I'm doing, so I really enjoy taking photos and sharing them.
He tells me seeing the northern lights again in his favorite place felt like a gift. He's photographed countless photos here, but says this one was different. Now Daniel's photos are being shared across the country. He's even receiving dozens of messages asking for prints.
I do get requests for prints, but this time it was off the chart. Like, it was so many requests. Yeah, it's the most ever, but obviously it's a big post, so it's the most viral post I've had, and yeah, I got a lot of requests, so it was great.
He's inspiring thousands to look up and appreciate the beauty that can appear when you least expect it.
Leaves easily blow around in the wind because each weighs just a few grams, but put them together and the weight adds up. So how much do all the leaves on a tree weigh? Meteorologist Teresa Carter does the math, so you don't have to.
As the leaves fall, rakes come out while piling up the leaves. Have you ever wondered why leaves seem so heavy at times? Did you know a mature oak tree has nearly 200,000 leaves? When you start to bag up the leaves, that bag usually gets heavier and heavier. 360 dry leaves are equal to 1 pound. Think about this. When you get a full tree, which again is 200,000 leaves, that means it would be about 550 pounds of leaves. Now, say it rains. Water added to those leaves will make them heavier. You can multiply that number by 4 times. Let's do some quick math here. A full oak tree with 200,000 leaves, 550 times 4 would weigh 2,200 pounds. Next time you try to rake leaves while they are wet and feel like they weigh more than when they are dry, you are correct. They weigh 4 times more.
Well, you may notice this time of year makes for some great looking sunsets, and there is a reason for that. Meteorologist Amy Aronson explains.
Meteorologist Amy Aronson here in Baltimore, where it is the season for pretty sunrise and sunsets. Take a look at this. This was the scene in Dundalk. You can see some pretty fall colors showing up over the horizon there. This is the time of year we see the most vibrant sunrises and sunsets, and that has to do with the position of the sun. It's lower in the sky, so that means the sunlight has to pass through more of the atmosphere, so the blues get scattered out, and we see more of the reds, oranges, and yellows. Pretty nice stuff. Also, this time of year, the air masses tend to be clearer or drier, so that means less humidity, so less for the sunlight to pass through, and as a result, we tend to see some prettier colors. We're all going to notice sunset times getting earlier and earlier as we head through November and into December too. We'll continue to decrease daylight all the way through December 21st. After that, we'll start to gain it again.
And check this out right here. Bumblebees can apparently process time. Researchers released a new study that says bumblebees can measure how long a light flashes and then use that to find food. The bees learned to fly toward a short flash that led to something sweet. The insects were able to repeat the task even without food, proving they remember the timing and have flexible learning capabilities as well. The scientists also say it's the first evidence that insects can process duration like humans and also birds. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we'll look at how areas in the Northeast and New England are preparing for the cold winter months ahead. And we'll have our Friday football forecast.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with Look at the Northeast. The cool air mass will be with us again today. Look for highs in the 40s to near 50 degrees for parts of the Northeast. I think we'll see a decent amount of sun. Skies will be partly sunny with a stiff northwesterly wind. Now, Saturday is a day filled with sunshine. We deserve one of these. I think we'll see a bright sunny sky in New England. There will be more clouds in New York. Our next weather maker will be moving in for Saturday night with a round of rain, and there will be a wintry mix in the mountains.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. Keeping the sunshine around to start your Friday. Will be chilly, but we'll get to some milder temperatures. Some passing clouds here and there towards your afternoon and evening. And then it'll be mostly cloudy on Saturday ahead of our next disturbance. And it will be a front to bring some rain to the region. And that will be late Saturday night. Temperatures staying mild after we get to the 30s at night. We'll be in the 50s in the afternoons. And that'll be the same on Saturday. Could even get close to 60 degrees.
Good Friday morning, meteorologist Michael Ehrenberg with a look at your Southeast regional forecast. We're looking at lots of sunshine throughout with high pressure and control. A few patchy clouds over the Mississippi River Valley. But other than that, clear conditions out there, especially over areas from Atlanta to the East Coast down through Florida with, again, conditions underneath that high pressure ridge preventing any rain from developing. High temperatures pretty much in the 70s everywhere from Nashville down to West Palm. Maybe some mid to upper 60s in coastal sections of North and South Carolina.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Looks like a rainbow minus the vibrant color. It's a fog bow, a relative of the rainbow. Both appear opposite the sun, but fog bows form in fog and are mostly white. Water droplets in fog are much smaller than the drops that help form rainbows. Diffraction overtakes the light, which causes the colors to blur together and overlap, making fog bows appear white.
Winter is coming, and that means time to start thinking about getting your winter weather supplies. But in some places, the frigid temperatures are here already. Emma Quinn is in Albany, New York, with a look at how officials and residents are handling the cold.
With over 230 miles of road, crews in Clifton Park are getting the trucks ready for the snow to fall. Having adequate road salt is key.
Yeah, so we rely heavily on our manufacturers and the vendors that we use for salt. A lot of it is locally sourced.
American Salt Act. New York municipalities had to buy road salt in the U.S. However, it led to issues.
The end of the season last year got a little hairy. We had a few rain events, a few snow events stacked up one on top of each other, and that led to a real concern about salt delivery.
Modifications were made to the law to prevent shortages. Are we prepared for this year?
And so I'm hoping that we kind of got through the kinks from last year and are able to get what we need this year.
But for those at home, your local hardware store has you covered.
We actually just got all of these pallets in yesterday. We got to get on the forklift in the snow, get everything off the truck, and load everything out for customers. Before we even put everything out, people were already buying it.
Employees at Hatchet Hardware in Niskayuna say you'll need more than just the rock salt to prepare this winter. You'll also need your de-icer spray for your windshield, plenty of windshield washer fluid. They also have plenty of gloves that you'll need this winter. And make sure to stock up on your shovels. They say it's also best to prepare now before the snow falls than when it's too late and supplies run out.
Absolutely don't wait until the last second. Like I said, we don't really know what the season's going to bring, especially in the way of any shortages.
When you think of swamp, you probably think of mud and alligators, but on the border of West Virginia and Maryland, you can find one swamp that thrives in the cold. Meteorologist Brandon Stover gives us an up-close look at this unusual location.
There are 16 national natural landmarks in West Virginia, with Cranesville Swamp surrounded by mountains, colder air being more dense, likes to drain down and settle in. This is what's called a frost pocket.
It allows an assemblage of plants and animals that are more commonly found in New England and in southern Canada than they are here in West Virginia. We know that the glaciers never made it this far south, but the cooling effect associated with those glaciers is what originally changed this habitat into more of a tundra-like habitat.
This is also how brook trout found a home high in our mountains. Nearby streams appreciate the swamp since it can filter out water and slow the runoff down after a heavy rain.
This is actually one large organism that's working together to provide the habitat that it does for the plants and animals. The cottongrass meadow. Cottongrass is another one of those species, much more common in New England and in southern Canada.
Something interesting was found below the swamp years ago.
One of the projects that we worked on was a sediment course. The peat that's here is about 3 feet deep, and we went down to the bottom of the peat and we hit solid wood. So what we think happened is this was originally a forested swamp dominated by conifer species like red spruce, eastern hemlock, white pine, and evidently a storm event, possibly a hurricane or a tornado came through and knocked that vegetation down that formed the basis of what the swamp is today.
The Nature Conservancy is here to protect these amazing species, these habitats that don't occur anywhere else, these amazing beauty spots in West Virginia, and I think people know us for that. But it's really the connections that we make to people or the connections that people have to us that's made this a success.
As we mentioned, swamps are a perfect place for alligators, but recently one was spotted in an unusual place, the Charles River in Boston. Mike Sullivan talked to the man who caught the elusive gator on video.
Often, the most dangerous animal on the Esplanade is a goose. That is, except this week.
I looked down looking for fish and I saw an alligator.
Trevor Rochelle did what anyone would do next. He took out his phone.
I thought it was fake. I didn't believe it.
The reptile wading through the murky Charles, emerging to greet Trevor by the bank of a lagoon.
TT gator was sitting right here and he moonwalked right back into the water.
Next came the questions.
What do I do? What should happen?
Is this thing even alive?
Did you poke this alligator with a stick?
Gently.
Do people think it's AI?
That was the first thing that people thought. They're like, you're joking, this is not real.
That stick you saw in the video, the one he pokes it with.
Here's the stick.
It's still there.
I mean, it's just as funny to me even talking about it.
He says no one believed him, not even animal control at first.
They thought I was crazy. The guy didn't believe me until I said I live near MIT. Then that gave them the, okay, maybe he's not as dumb as we thought he was. So calling this in.
It turns out this isn't the first time this has happened.
He's dealt with a couple, and he had dealt with one in the Jamaica Plain area as well.
We covered a similar story in 2010. A canoeist came across one in the Charles in Needham. A local reptile educator pulled it from the water with his bare hands.
Definitely not native. Maybe someone had ill intentions.
Mass Wildlife is aware of the video, and they are working with Boston Animal Control and Mass Environmental Police to try to capture it. Alligators are not native to the state and cannot survive the cold weather. They're also illegal to own in Massachusetts.
Trying to get everybody to come out here and try to find this thing so we can get it to the right home. I think that's the end goal here.
And there's an update to this story. The gator has since been captured and delivered to safety. It's now awaiting a permanent home. Well, there are thousands of active satellites in space, but what happens when a satellite reaches the end of its life? This week on our podcast, Off the Radar, Emily Gracie sat down with an astrophysicist to learn more about the use of satellites and dangers they pose. Here's a preview of that episode.
Earlier this year, the Minor Planet Center at Harvard announced the discovery of an unusual asteroid, designation 2018 CN41. It came within 150,000 miles of Earth, making it a near-Earth object. 17 hours later, the Minor Planet Center deleted it from their records because it wasn't an asteroid at all. It was a Tesla. Elon Musk had strapped a card to the front of a rocket and shot it into space, and now it's just out there, drifting, one more object in an increasingly crowded void.
A decade ago, right, there were about 1,000 working satellites. There's now 12,000 working satellites.
This week, we're going off the radar with Dr. Jonathan McDowell, an astrophysicist who's been tracking every rocket and satellite launched since the 1940s. We'll learn why space technology is critical and what the environmental cost could be if we don't start managing it responsibly.
So now we're seeing several satellites a day being disposed of using the upper atmosphere as an incinerator.
And time now for a short break, but first we take to the skies over Skulls Gap, Virginia.
Good Friday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael. Pretty quiet weather for the Midwest as we go through the day today. A lot of 70s and 60s all across the map as we continue on into the day tomorrow. Got a little bit of rain across the Ohio Valley, but really not much. A little bit of up by the Great Lakes as well. By the time that we roll on into your Sunday, still dry for most of us with a mix of sun and clouds and temperatures a little cooler.
I'm meteorologist Chris Suchet. Look at our forecast across the region. It has been a beautiful Thursday with mainly clear skies. Overnight into Friday morning, we'll start off with cool, mild conditions. And through the day on Friday, get you into the weekend. A lot of sunshine, a few fair weather clouds on the Gulf Coast. Temperatures running warmer than normal. 70s and 80s will be very common across the region. And we will carry that into the Saturday forecast. Mild in the morning, lots of sunshine, highs 70s and 80s to get the weekend started.
I'm George Waldenberger with your forecast for the western United States. Still fairly decent from Albuquerque to Denver. Winds picking up parts of Montana and Wyoming, and our storm system hitting the west coast. Very strong wind and heavy rain, even a flood risk for parts of California. On top of that, mountain snow over the Sierra Nevadas. Looking at Nevada and Arizona and even Idaho, some rain that extends all the way to Seattle. That's the scene from out here.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jonathan Wendt for WXLV ABC 45 News in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and you're watching the National Weather Desk.
It's Friday, and that means it's time for our Friday football forecast. Here's meteorologist Katie Morgan.
Lots of great matchups this weekend. Let's get right to it, and we're going to start with our college matchups of the week. Off to the West Coast we go. Iowa in town, in LA, where there's a chance of showers taking on USC. Temperatures will be in the mid-60s at least. We've got rain in California. To Tuscaloosa we go. Alabama at home taking on Oklahoma. Temperatures looking great in Tuscaloosa at 77 for kickoff. A night game with Texas visiting Georgia and Athens. We're looking at temperatures in the mid-60s under a partly cloudy sky. To Sunday we go. The Lions and Eagles night game here. Temperatures sitting at 44, chilly in Philadelphia. And the Chiefs versus the Broncos in Denver, 66 with a few clouds. Across the pond we go. We've got another international matchup. This one is the Madrid game. This will be in Spain. The Commanders at the Dolphins, 15 degrees Celsius, which is 56 degrees Fahrenheit, with a chance for showers around the area. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm meteorologist Katie Morgan.
And thank you so much for joining us. I'm Angela Brown. Make it a great Friday and have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you right back here on Monday.